The first one, the pilot, was at Civil Hospital Karachi, which is like right next door to my office. So essentially, we are a part of the Civil Hospital Karachi, so that's where it is established. And second thing, the second anti-rape crisis cell has been established at Nishtar Hospital, Multan, not in Karachi. As far as the anti-rape crisis cell is concerned, it basically gives all services under one roof, not only including the medical services but also the medico legal services, plus the police related police statements and everything else. In addition to that, we are supposed to, actually not we are supposed to, they are supposed to be provided, the survivors are supposed to be provided with a legal aid, which can be pro bono or through the prosecution department. And we are also directed, this is the directions for the crisis cell management, which includes the medical staff. We are supposed to provide them with psychosocial support. Psychological support we can, but for social support we need to be connected to the women development department or the social welfare department. That depends, that becomes a part of our referral pathways. As far as the medical services are concerned, there are now sort of SOPs regarding the entire referral pathway network, which wasn't there previously, so that any survivor who comes to us is given the best possible care. So the second one that we are going to do will be in JPMC, Jinnah Postgraduate Medical Center. That's going to be a model one for the entire country, perhaps, because we have learned a lot of lessons as far as the pilot was concerned. So the model will be at JPMC, and then we have 26 cells notified, which will be established in the course of the next 2 years across the province. So 26 in addition to the 2 that I already have in Karachi. Whether the survivor is going to a crisis cell or the survivor is going to a regular medico legal clinic or section or department or a casualty, he, she, they are likely to be questioned regarding the history and everything. They are likely to be examined head to toe, and they are likely to be, obviously this will be done with consent, they are likely to be examined on their external genitalia alongside internal genital examination. They are likely to face collection of samples, again with consent, and they are likely to be asked, if they have not changed the clothes, they are likely to be asked, provided a change of clothes, or perhaps they could be asked to bring along a change of clothes so that the clothes can be then dried and sealed for semen serology and DNA. So that's the entire process. And depending upon the injuries seen on the person, they are likely to be sent through the referral pathway. If the case so arises that it's a gang rape, or the person is, they might be sent to the HIV/AIDS clinic as well. They might be made to go through for the post-exposure prophylaxis, that is, they might be made to go through the hepatitis B or C clinic for any injuries involving bone fractures or anything else. They will be referred to the orthopedics. As a general rule, they might even be referred to the gynae, not only for expert opinion, but also for treatment. If they are in the pediatric age group, they will be asked to go to the peds ward, or perhaps on-call pediatric specialist could be called in. So that's exactly what they are likely to expect. But how much of that is used depends, it varies from case to case. At any given time, nothing is done without the consent, express consent, like written, documented consent from the survivor. And at any given time, they have full authority to stop the examination at any stage. For minors, assent is taken, and it is corroborated with consent by the guardians or legal heir, or legal like parents or someone who is related to the child. That's the kind of thing that is expected. That's expected. They're likely to go through all of this, one, two, three. And after that, obviously, the crisis cell, or even if the regular medical legal section is handling the case, police will be involved either before this thing or after this thing. And anti rape crisis cell makes it mandatory for the child, for the woman or the man or the trans person to be referred to a psychiatrist or a psychologist, in addition to all the referral pathways that I talked about. The Anti-Rape Act, it says that at any given time, any crisis cell is supposed to have 20 of these sexual violence, sexual assault kits. These are known as the rape kits. These are known as the sexual assault kits, or they can be called as physical examination recovery kit. Whatever you call them, the Anti-Rape Act calls them these sexual assault kits, and they have a certain number, a certain criteria for things to be there. So currently, I have around 150 of them with me, and I believe the number is almost similar or maybe a bit less in Nishtar as well. So yes, I do have these sexual assault kits, much more than is required. Now there are SOPs, written SOPs, as to what needs to be done and what should not be done. We have designed them in such a manner that the survivor, if she goes to the police first, even the IO, the investigating officer, knows about it. So as far as the leaflets or the brochures are concerned, or the information material is concerned, so most of the survivors are told not to take a shower immediately after the act. But as you said yourself, that it's a traumatic event, so we are not likely to expect them to follow what is written, or even remember what is written. It's quite pertinent that they should not shower, but even if they shower and they are able to reach us, say within, like, 6 hours of the incident, we should be able to collect the samples and we should be able to take them. It's all about telling, it's all about information. As long as this information is made public, as long as this information is made known to the investigating officer, to the field agents, it we can actually, how should I say, we can actually ask the survivors, or perhaps make the survivors wait long enough for them to be examined, and then take the shower. Anti-rape crisis cell provides these facilities: change of clothes, showering or cleaning up for the person. It makes sure that a dedicated toilet with the required stuff, even change of clothes, is provided. Minors require a sensitivity, as do other survivors. Minors is like, you need to, with the adults, with the teenagers, with the older, or even the any, like, man, woman, trans, or it's okay. The sensitivity, the level of sensitivity has to be there. But with minors, getting them to open up requires a sensitive approach, perhaps more exhaustive. We have had a safe corner made for them, especially. They're like toys there, and something to be used as icebreakers. We are supposed to actually interact with them properly, in a way that they actually trust us, and so that they can open up and tell us what exactly that they went through. This can take anywhere between, and it's like a proper psychological approach, where we have to be very careful in not making them scared of us. Doctors are already scary people. They're taken as, someone carrying a syringe or a needle or a suey. So they already know, okay, this person, the doctor, is already scary for them. So we have turned a safe corner for them, and they have got toys over there, and a few of those drawing things. Whatever the child picks up, we never take it back from them. We make sure that they take it with them. So yes, ice breaking is the first step, and getting them to open up is the second step. And we use dolls, which is like, when the child, dolls or even figures, the child can explain in third person what he or she went through. So we give them an option. Not, instead of explaining it, "Okay, this is what happened to me," we give them an option, "Okay, what happened to the doll?" So they will then tell us, "Okay, this is the doll probably had an ui," or whatever their word is for pain. So we know, okay, the thing that they went through. What actually helps is that we also have a psychologist on board here. In my setup, I have a psychologist who comes in 5 days a week, and trust me, that's a pro bono thing. She's doing it on her own. She comes to me, and we keep cases for her. And there are times when we can't get the children to open up, we can refer them to her. Not rise, reporting, I think. The cases have already been there, always been there. It's just that people now know, thanks to the social media and everything, people now know that they're supposed to report it. And plus, social media, one very important aspect which the media has played in this particular reporting aspect, even if the case is unreachable, media makes it reachable. That's the best thing. I think that's the best thing. That's why you're seeing a sharp rise. It's not rise, it's reporting. The Anti-Rape Investigation and Trial Act 2021 was enacted in, obviously, 2021. It has been like 2 years since then, and laws take a long time in being implemented. Anti-rape crisis cell, we have had rules. The first step was the act itself. Next, we have the rules. So we have the rules for the medical legal officers, we have rules for the investigation, and we have rules for the prosecutorial processes, and we have rules for the national DNA, national offenders registry, national sex offenders registry. There's a lot to be done. A lot needs to be done. We are taking it piecemeal. We are taking baby steps, thanks to the perhaps the, how should I say, the limitations that we are living in. But the best thing is that we are moving forwards. The pilot that I am running actually helped us learn a lot. And we have got like different areas of the country follow different models of investigation, of prosecution, of medical legal services. So it's like implementing a single body of act into different areas and taking care that it is applicable there. So we are actually adapting the act to the local dynamics without even touching the actual soul of the act. That takes time. That takes time. And I'm quite happy to say that what we are trying to do is nothing short of revolutionary. Hopefully, we will be able to do what we have started out to do. Coming to the cell is the first step. If they come here, then it's a long way ahead. There are multiple statements to be given: statements to the medical legal officer, statements to the investigating officer under Section 161, statement to the magistrate under 164, and then you have the actual trial. Anti-Rape Investigation and Trial Act gives it a mandatory requirement, which is like it has to be finished in about 4 months, which is hardly the case. So it's not that the crisis cells have been established and there will be an overnight change in the entire process. No, crisis cell is just a portion of that. We have actually kept a very survivor centric approach. It's the process after the crisis cell which needs to be brought down. It needs to be brought down from several years to 4 months. And when people know that they have witness protection, when people know that they have resources, when people know that they will be provided with the legal aid, which sometimes they cannot afford, then there will be an actual change. Till that time, we are working in silos. Okay, so I worked for the medical legal services, I worked for the sexual and reproductive health. Made sure that she was provided, she, he, or they were provided the psychological support that was required, the social help that was required. But as long as I cannot provide them security, as long as I cannot provide them witness protection as mandated in the law, as long as I cannot provide them, or the law cannot provide them, quick justice or within the 4 months stipulated, I doubt if there will be any increase, any further increase. Sindh has rather been quite, since I am in Karachi and we have been working on this thing even before the Anti Rape Act, the crisis cell, the precursor, we have already been working on that. So, yes, we will have challenges in terms of manpower, which is like not very much different from the rest of the country. So, quite a few things we have earmarked, and since we have also now we have a Sindh Medical Legal Act as well, so we are connecting the two. It's not only the Anti Rape Investigation and Trial Act 2021 for us, it's all the Sin Medical Legal Act 2023 for us. So we are connecting the two and trying to reach to a common ground where both can be implemented in letter and spirit.
Okay,
So
thank
that
you
will
so
be a particular challenge for us. I believe, shall I start from where? I'll start from the manpower. We require manpower. Without manpower, the crisis cells will come to nothing. So that means medical legal officers, males and females. That means we need nurses or medical legal assistants who will be assisting us in the entire process. We need psychologists. So as long as, and plus we need investigating officers. More importantly, we need female investigating officers who are trained, because the law mandates that ideally a female should be there, ideally. But obviously we don't live in an ideal world. And after that, the prosecutorial processes and the charge framing and all of that needs to be done, if not within 4 months, but it should be done as early as possible. So all of that requires working together, requires the think trial approach, requires a multi-sectoral coordination till the time that all the three stakeholders, that is the medical legal officers, the investigating officers, and the prosecutors, are not working together on a single case. I don't think um, we are likely to see much of a difference. Having said that, let me give you an example. I'm going off a little bit, but I think it's quite important. In 2021, we initiated a one-stop protection center when I was heading the Jinnah Postgraduate Medical Center. Now, One Stop Protection Center is like a precursor to the current crisis cell model. It's like a precursor. We learned a lot while we were running that for almost a year and a half. The same referral pathways, everything was like ditto to it. Whatever you see in crisis cell was already being done at JPMC, and this was more like a pilot kind of a thing. Trust me, during that period, during the 2 year period from 2021 to 2023, we have seen our conviction rate go from 5% to 11%. From 5 to 11. So you can imagine the kind of conviction rates, the skyrocketing conviction rates, if we put the Anti Rape Act into practice as it is supposed to be implemented in the letter, in true letter and spirit. We are likely to see a lot of changes. The problem is that we are short of manpower. We are short of trained manpower. Second, manpower and then trained manpower. We need to work together. We need to bring everyone together. Like the way you are talking to me, we need to be talking together. We need to be working together. I think that will bring about a change.
आपकी खबर आपकी आवाज़ voicepkdotnet